This is Following the Shamrocks, a documentary following Tattykeeran Shamrocks' rise to the top of Tempo football. On the 26th of December 2014, they became the Tempo Townland Sevens champions. We follow their journey right from the very morning of the tournament to here tonight to interview them about their success.
Brains gone. Neil brains gone. Neil not brains gone. Give me a ball try. Pass the ball try. Want door track by. Nearly the brain but big Broca brain man. Feel the fry on, mommy!
Boxing Day, are we ready, lads?
Alright.
Alright.
Skill there.
We're looking sharp there.
Tattykeeran Shamrocks, team tournament meeting.
I'd just like to send a warning out. I'd just like to send a warning out to the Glen boys.
Oh, here we go, boys.
Here we go.
A warning to the Glen
Team
boys.
members arriving here.
Up that shaft, Mark. Yours for wearing.
That's it.
Alright, dog. Yeah.
Big one. Looking sharp.
That's another man on
See,
it.
Adam,
Straight
Adam, the
straight
squad.
out of
Good
bed.
to have you, Stool.
He leads from the back, and he's our captain today, JP Mullen.
I'd like to say a few words on behalf of myself and all the staff in the clinic. I'd like to present you this new jersey for the Tattykeeran Shamrocks. Alright? Good luck today, JP, and don't come back without the cup, alright?
Right, next man. A big tournament expected from him. He's been playing high level soccer, and unfortunately I think we're going to lose him to Bournemouth over the next couple of months, but today he's a Tattykeeran man, so Niall McAvoy.
Speech.
Good luck, man.
Speech.
Next man up, Tattykeeran through and through. Really came of age during last year's competition, and we're delighted he's made himself available at very late notice. And if he gets the ball today, he could shoot the lights out. Donald Murphy.
Right, don't look out today.
Don't get the wrong jersey.
The name's on them.
Medium. Yeah. Alright, next man. Bulked up immensely over the last 12 months in preparation for the day. He's been doing a serious amount of physical training. It's our US born Tattykeeran Shamrocks.
Very serious. Look at that man's face there.
Next man, good debut tournament last year. Done a lot of training since. We see him in the mould of Killian O'Connor. And he should provide plenty of scores for us today. And we look forward to producing Stephen Fay.
It's not a jersey, it fits him.
That That's it, no?
That's what we're
Alright, Steve. Alright, cheers, good lad.
Right, next man. Another man who's been training extremely hard. Probably will be the fittest man in lesson today. Thankfully for us, he knows a lot more about Gaelic than he does about rugby. Should have a big tournament. Tommy the Tribe.
I seen you hugging Stephen Nolan the other night. You going to give me a hug?
Next man. This man has been prolific for the Shamrocks for almost 40 years. Extraordinary. He's carrying an injury in today's tournament. He's been doing a lot of miles on the bike. He is to us what James O'Donoghue is to Carrick. Our sponsor, Liam Keane.
Give him another cup.
Speech. Next man. This man caused a lot of outrage last year by not turning up to the Shamrocks. There was a lot of Tattykeeran people didn't want him playing this year. But however, those differences have now been settled. And he's put in a lot of hard work and he's ready to put the shoulder to the wheel today. So Ryan Keenan. He's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders today to get the Shamrocks a lot of scores. And he's got to produce in front of the new Tempo manager as well. So honouring that.
I just like to say a few words and we'll play boys. Boys, today it's not like playing with your club. Everyone's spread out. Today you're playing for your family, you're playing for your neighbours, the boys you got the bus with. Today means a lot more, boys, so let's get over the line, alright?
Hang on, big jersey, you've got your presentation, your jersey, yeah, come on. Let me buy some coffee. Alright,
We went up through a wee detour of last year's champions, Doon Pobble, up to the Rogers house. Let them know that the Tattykeeran boys are here. We don't know how we'll be greeted here, but we'll go for it.
The flag's out, the Doon Public flag is out.
We're gonna have to keep our head down. Start to. Up the tots! 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 Up the tots!
I turn the music up, I got my records on. I shut the world outside until the lights come on. Maybe the streets are light, maybe the trees are gone. I feel my heart stop beating to my favorite song. And all the kids they dance, all the kids all laugh until morning it feels another life. I turn the music up, I'm on the world aside. The heaven is inside. I turn the music up, I got my records on. From underneath the world, we'll sing a random song. Don't wanna see another generation drop. I'd rather be a calmer. Take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now. Paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting this hard, eh? Been holding it in for a while, eh?
and a bit more competitive. Some might say it was a bit too competitive at times, but that's what it's all about. So I'd like to thank all the footballers for their effort in coming out and playing, and those that organised it. And I know Niall did a bit of interviewing there, and it all added to the occasion, the festive spirit. I'd like to all those that helped out behind the scenes, too numerous to mention. I would like to thank our 2 referees who turned out today. You both give up your boxing day. I'm sure you could have been somewhere else, but you put up with the bump out there in the field, and hope we haven't put this off refereeing. But we hope maybe we could have you back next year again. So take that as a booking. So thanks for that. And I'd like to thank Fermanagh County Board for letting us have the grounds here. At short notice, we were hoping to play in Tempo if things had been right, but fortunately now we got listen, because I wouldn't like to have seen Tempo today now if we were on it. So thanks to everybody who contributed. There were a lot of sponsors as well. Niall could name them probably better than I could.
CD Consulting, Leonard's Repair, Murphy's Loves. Dolly Stand and Campbell's Bar, and also Lane Clean and Physiotherapy. Thanks to you all for putting in the effort, and I hope we can continue it and keep the momentum going for next year, build it bigger and better. And I did hear a few men standing around that haven't played football in a long time. We're saying that they'd like a novelty team in next year, maybe 2 novelty teams to play a wee final of just purely over 40. So maybe that's something we can add as well. And I'll just move on now by wanting to make a presentation to the runners up. And I would ask the Vice Chairman maybe to step in here.
Busy there, Jared?
I'll ask our Youth Secretary to step in to make the presentation to the runners up, which is doing Hubble. On putting up a gallant effort and just been picked to the post at the end. And we're thinking by worthy winners on the day. And we think it's evened out anyway, because it was one apiece today. But worthy winners, Tattykeeran. Their strategy worked today, so well done. But for the runners up, there's a prize of a pair of gloves. Well, that's to tell us something, I don't know. But it's a pair of gloves to the runners up. So if any of you can present them, them to the runners
Cheers. Thank you very much.
And for the all-important occasion to lift the cup that Down Hubble held was great to see there last year, we would like to pass it on out to the new worthy winners of Tattykeeran. Our captain is Darren.
JP Mullen.
JP Mullen, if you come up now to.
Shouting me out as captain this morning. Things a bit of a joke, just like the rest of the build-up on Friday. But thanks to all the boys and the guys in the final, really well done. Our tactics was pure dirt, just that's what we came in trying to do, and we done it. And the weather added to that. So no, just it's nice to play the same team again and keep a bit of rivalry with a bit of crack at the same time. But no, it was a good event, and thanks to everyone who organised it, and thanks to getting me out once a year to kick the ball and stuff. So thanks to all the team, all the boys turned up and
Neil and PJs must be gutted, defeated in the final against Tattykeeran. What's your reaction?
Very disappointed. You know, we played well. Came up against a good team in the end. You know, we're not sore losers. We can hold our hands up. We were beaten by a good team today. If anything, probably our fitness let us down. There was a lot of boys out last night in the beer and a show today, but overall I think we did well. And fair play to Tattykeeran on behalf of the Public Down team. We're going to congratulate them on their win.
We were in victory last year, but no, well done to Tattykeeran. It's been on the cards for a while. I think it would have been very embarrassing if they didn't win with their lovely jerseys today, but we're just glad.
Well, it must be, we beat them in their group stages, and we get them an awful fright. It just it was one game too far for us in the end.
Someone in the crowd had shouted at the end of the game, cheered up Pobble, still 3-1, Pobble doing over Tattykeeran. So
we're happy with that.
And what about the weather conditions? Did they impact on your game plan at all?
They did because we planned a bit of training up on top of the mountain, but Ballyray had kind of been hogging it for the last couple of months, so we have kind of resorted just to kind of relax, and maybe some guys had a bit too much turkey yesterday and weren't able to run the final. I think Brian Jackson is officially called the day now after this final defeat. So it's going to be, I think, it's going to be a tough year to come back next year. I don't think the Pobble Down team might stay together, so it's going to be challenging 11 months.
We're back to the drawing board, but you as well have a team out next year.
Oh yeah, there's plenty.
Are you confident going into the training preparations for next year?
Oh, look at, you know, we knew we could make the final, and we did make the final, and I'd say next year we'll be thereabouts next year.
We only lost one game 2 years, so we're going alright.
We're happy.
Thanks very much.
It's 3 days after St Stephen's Day, and we're here with the champions of the Tempo Townland Sevens, Tattykeeran Shamrocks. Some of the lads are still celebrating, and we're here to ask them a few questions about how they felt the tournament went for them this year. We've got with us tonight some of the players from the team. On the left here we have the youngest member of the team, Stephen Fee. Beside me here we have the man on the right back from England, especially for the tournament, Dara Keenan. The man beside him there is Thomas, star of the Nolan show, Campbell. And on the end there we have the main attacker for the Shamrocks this year, Connor Sparky McNally. Dara, we'll start with you, and how did you feel the tournament went overall for Tempo Maguires this year?
Well, I would have to say it was a massive success for the Maguires. You know, we had well over 80 players up and listening. The conditions obviously were awful, but you know, credit must go to each team captain. You know, they put in a lot of effort to get all the players out on that particular morning, and obviously a lot of players put in massive effort to get sponsorship and to organise different things for that particular day, and they must be commended for that. So also I suppose we'd have to give a lot of praise towards the referees for coming out. You know, I thought they did a terrific job in all the games, and also all the supporters who came up and, you know, give donations towards the club, and all credit goes to them, and it was a huge success for Tempo on the day.
I said that, I agree.
We'll move on to the youngest member of the victorious Shamrocks team, that's Stephen Fee. And I suppose, Stephen, maybe a difficult day for the younger players. Who do you feel maybe was the young player of the tournament? And what maybe the conditions didn't suit the younger players? Who do you feel is the youngest player that stood out for you?
Well, now there was a couple of players that I expected a lot of, like Rory McCaffrey and Dorcan McDonough, because they talked a big game before it. Text about how Tattykeeran was going to be taken down.
Respect our lad.
And we were going to be laughed out the gate, but we were the ones laughing at them. Tiernan Bogue, to be fair to him, he played well. He shot some good scores, so he'll be part of the tournament.
You're impressed with him, very good. But Thomas, moving ahead to the start of the tournament, I suppose, in your first game you came up against Glen Shamrocks. Comfortable victory for Tattykeeran then. How do you feel that game went, Tom?
Yeah, as you said, it was comfortable, but what I found funny was their choice of tactics now.
Right.
I think they had a couple of big guns in the sideline at the start.
Right.
I don't know what they were trying to do there, but it certainly didn't work. We completely blew them out of the water.
Right.
Threw them in the bin, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But we're just happy to be sitting here now. We're still in the brandy and champagne. We've been thinking about this all year. It means a lot to us. People know that, and I couldn't be much happier.
Very good, very good. Well, talking about celebrations, I suppose we'll move on to Connor. Connor, Rewind back to Boxing Night, and I suppose the celebrations were going strong. And I'm hearing maybe the social time you had a great night yourself. You get a lot of female attraction around Enniskillen. A lot of young girls looking at your autograph, Conor, is that right?
Yeah, well, we were down in Enniskillen later on the night, you know, to the crowd, and in fairness to Crows, we got a walk straight up to the top of the queue, you know, straight in the VIP, you know, and there was a lot of girls floating about, but we were getting hassled, women everywhere. But I had a few boys with me, like the Flanagans and Jamie Campbell. They weren't getting much luck with the women, so I brought a few of the women into the VIP area just to give the boys a chance, and I just enjoyed my night, you know.
Your shout-out line was what, Conor?
Have you ever wanted a Townland Sevens winner?
Alright, there you go. And coming back to again the tournament, Dara, what team maybe disappointed you the most in the Tempo Townland Sevens this year?
Well, the team I would probably go for now would be a team that wasn't in our group that I probably expected to come out of the other group would have been Clonard Rangers. You know, obviously they were doing a lot of talk before the tournament. You know, obviously when you boys went around to interview them, they were in the gym working hard.
Yeah.
So very, very surprised. Now, I don't know, maybe Dermot Foy, I know he was managing them and training them. So maybe Dermot might have to look at his training methods and see what he could do differently. Because that's 2 years in a row now that Clonard have underperformed in the tournament.
Yeah.
And with the players that they have, you know, they should be at the very least coming out of the group, if not maybe making the final anyway. So maybe they're going to have to look at that aspect of it. You know, maybe a change of manager possibly. But you know, they were probably the team that disappointed me the most.
Right. But talking about managers, and Conor, I'll go back to you. I suppose the Tattykeeran Shamrocks manager this year was the great Liam Keenan. But he wasn't just the manager, I suppose he was also the physio, he was the kit man, he was the water man, he looked after the footballs, he was a player, he's a supporter, of course he's the team sponsor. Do you want to tell us a bit more about Liam Keenan?
Yeah, well, Liam's been prolific for the Shamrocks now for over 40 years, you know, but sadly, looking back on Friday, I think it was his last tournament, you know. He's very emotional after the final whistling, wasn't he, boys?
He was indeed, yeah.
He really soaking the whole moment up. He got us all to sign his jersey. He went around shaking everyone's hand, you know, all the staff members in the facilities, and he was the last to leave the change room. So sadly, I think we've seen the last Liam Keane, but what a way to go out, you know. He scored that last point in the final.
Tell us a bit more about that point, Conor, for the people that weren't there.
It's all a bit of a blur now, because it was that unreal. I think Thomas maybe played a big part in it.
Yeah,
Thomas let him off, you know, but Liam still had a lot of work to do when he got the ball, you know, and he just let the left foot on it, which is you know, it's been a lethal weapon for years now for the Shamrocks, and it's proved to be once more, and he got the ball over the bar when it mattered.
Very good, very good. We're talking about scores, Stephen. There were some great scores throughout today, despite the conditions. Who do you feel got the score of the tournament, or what was the score of the tournament for you?
Yeah, well, there was plenty of them that could have got it, but it'd have to be Connor's there in the first match against Glen. It was out in the sideline. He just went for it, went straight over, and don't think he could believe it himself. But that would have to be the score of the tournament.
Maybe a Morris Fitzgerald-like score?
Oh yeah. Well, it's hard to know if he meant it, but.
Well, Conor, did you mean it, Conor?
I just got the ball out and right, and there wasn't much options on, so I threw it about. And you know, God knows where I would land, but thankfully I went away. You know.
Very good, very good. And I suppose throughout the tournament, maybe or after the tournament, or some of the Tattykeeran team were criticised maybe for the discipline throughout the day. Do you want to respond to that criticism?
Well, Neil, they're still talking about our discipline. You know, I suppose we were the only team to pick up black yards in the tournament.
Okay.
I think it was 3 in total. The first one was yourself in the group stage against Doon Pobble.
Very harsh one, Dara, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would think it was very harsh now. I think the referee got that one wrong. But moving on to the final, which Conor McNally got the black card in the final. I think the ref probably got that wrong as well. I think it should have been a straight red, to be honest. You know, he lunged in 2-footed, and we're lucky that the Doon Pobble player was seriously injured. The other black card in the final, again, very harsh. You know, there wasn't much to it, and it ended up that we played the remainder of the final with 6 men. So that was hugely disappointing. You know, but there was a lot of physicality throughout our group games. Even in the semi-final, I thought Ballyray, you know, all the talk before the tournament was Ballyray were it's our Armagh type team. and they brought a real physicality to it, and probably I think they overstepped the line there. In some of their challenges and some of the things that were going on, particularly maybe at the sideline. I know they had about 10 players maybe on the sideline, and you know they were giving themselves line balls that were clearly Tattykeeran balls, and the umpire we had a clear point. I remember in the semi-final it was way wide. So wee things like that, you know, I thought our discipline right throughout the competition was very, very good. And even when we were on the line, the subs ran in from the right places. You know, our manager kept control at all stages. So, you know, we would have to be very pleased with how we conducted ourselves in that particular day.
Very good, very good. Well, we're just have to be joined here by the American-born Tattykeeran Shamrocks player Malachy McNally. Of course, he's you're based in New York at the minute, Malachy, and I suppose you're especially thrown home for the tournament by the Tattykeeran team sponsor Liam Keenan from Liam Keenan Physiotherapy.
Yeah.
How did it feel when you got the call from Liam to come home for this year's tournament, Malachy?
Well, first of all, he reversed the call, so it cost me a fortune.
Right.
It was about $150, but he says he's going to pay me back in the new year.
Right.
I haven't seen him since.
Right.
And he seems to have retired now. Right. But yeah, it was great to get the call because I didn't know if I could make it home this year because I'm very busy, and I was picked up a wee injury there on a night out, one night in Manhattan.
Right.
My knee had a bit of a fall,
right.
And I had to do some Pilates before I got over, and the plane journey was very uncomfortable for me. But I was glad I was able to come off the bench a few times and hopefully make a bit of a difference.
Oh, you played your part. You definitely played your part for the Shamrocks, and it
had been snowing a bit over there, so I had a bit of experience in them kind of conditions. But doing it on a cold evening and listening is a different story altogether.
It is. I hear word is filtered back to New York already about your performances in this year's tournament, and I'm led to believe maybe there could be a call-up coming for the New York County team for next year's Connacht Championship. Is that right?
Well, I got an email there from the New York County Board, and they're having trials now in January in the Bronx, and I said I'd maybe get up to that. Minty Moog says he'd give me the end of his boots. He told me he'd be through them in the Harlem River, but he says he's going to fish them back out again, and hopefully in the same size.
We look forward to watching next year's championship. Back to you, Thomas, and talking about new teams and whatnot. I'm led to believe maybe was there approaches made from Igmore Gaels towards you to play for them in this year's competition?
Actually, I wouldn't want to speculate on that now. There's a few allegations floating about before the tournament where my ancestors is. I just want to say, Phil, this is you. I'm a Tattykeeran man, have been for 27 years. So I don't know why you think I should be playing for even more.
Yeah.
I think maybe you should stick to what you do or what you're not doing in Stormont. Pride my life to play with these boys, and Tattykeeran until I die.
Very good. That's great news for Tattykeeran Shamrocks, Thomas. Great news. And I suppose we move on to a few quick fair questions for you now, just to finish off the series of interviews of this year's competition. What was your moment of the tournament, Dar?
Well, I think my moment of the tournament came in the final. Just particularly seeing Thomas Campbell straight through the middle of the field, bury the ball in the top corner of the net. That had to be my moment of the tournament.
Great moment. Thomas, what would you?
My moment was a bit of a comical one. It was with Declan Batch Campbell in the final. I think it was in the latter stages of the second half. Usually when Declan has the ball and he's in front of you and he's powering up the field, you're not going to catch him. So on this occasion I more or less said, right Declan, you're away here. But for some reason he just went to hit the ground himself. He lost complete energy in his legs and just hit the snow and walked. That was my highlight.
It's a funny one, alright. Connor?
You have to be Liam Keen's point in the final. Icing on the cake, cutting the cake on the bar thing.
Malachy?
Probably getting a warm shower afterwards.
Certainly a cold day out there. We're going to give Malachy shortly this time. Who's your player of the tournament?
That's a tough one. I'd have to give that to Ryan Keenan. He really pulled it out of the bag. He was wearing a nice Washington Redskins hat, and just all you seen was the bubble on the top of the hat running up and down all day. He never stopped.
Classic performance from Ryan. Connor?
I know my final came and I brought them, but I'd probably have to give it to myself.
Yeah, you had a good tournament. Thomas?
I'd have to give it to Shane McDonald. Haven't seen him with a pair of boots on him now for a while. But from what I've seen now, he was very, very tasty. And I've also heard rumours maybe talking about for Tempo again this year, which is great to hear.
Good news.
So Shane Byman.
Good. And Dar?
I'm going to go for Donald Murphy.
Okay.
You know, he hasn't played football in quite a number of years, but you know, I thought he was very impressive. He just ball handling, worked great, his fitness, everything was very good, and you know, I thought he had a great tournament, so it was a big performance from Donald, and we were glad that he produced.
Very good. Connor, toughest team in the tournament? Did you face?
Team, I thought it would have been the Townies, but they rolled over, you know, maybe that's becoming a bit of a common thing. I'd say now, that Ballyray semi-final was probably the hardest game in the tournament.
Malachy?
I would have to give it to Doon Pobble, seeing as the basis in one of the games, but we kind of saved the energy for the last game, so I'll be sure we're back.
Thomas?
I'd have to go to Doon Pobble as well. They really put it up this in the first game, which they beat us fairly and squarely. Thank God we beat them in the final, so Doon Pobble, yeah.
I'd have to go to the semi-final against Ballyray. You know, I think the score was 2-1 for up until probably the last 5 minutes of that game. But that was probably down. That was probably due to Ballyray playing a very defensive game, and in the end, it probably cost them. Their tactics probably cost them the end up because they just got too many men behind the ball, and then they couldn't get them forward quick enough, and it kind of played into our hands. And eventually, we broke them down and won easily in the end up.
Very good. And last question, I suppose we sort of touched on this a bit. Which team do you think was the biggest flops in the competition, Malachy?
It'd have to be Klarna. I was in the Foy's house, I think it was the night before, and we were talking about the beatings they were going to dish out, and they were just gone before the race even started.
Okay. Connor?
Have to be Glen, you know, Glen were the talk of the tournament, and I personally thought they might win it before the tournament, and we played them in the first game, and you know, it was men against boys out there.
Thomas?
I'd go for Glen as well. I think it's important to note that they have a few tacticians on their team, and it didn't work for them, so very, very disappointed with Glen.
Okay, and Darren?
I'm going to go with Glen again.
Glen get a serious touch here, lads?
Yeah, well, even come back into the town after the tournament, you know, everyone around the town was asking what happened to Glen. You know, how did Glen not get a win in the tournament? And, you know, with the players they have at their disposal, big squad, big numbers, big town land, you know, they should be easily coming out of any group, no matter what group they're in. So a major disappointment for the second year running for Glen.
But certainly there's a lot of ammunition there for teams for next year's tournament. I'm sure lads you'll be looking forward to next year's tournament.
Yeah.
Get the heads down and train hard and look to retain the title. And all that remains now is to look forward to next year. All teams no doubt be training very hard with the date in mind, 26th of December 2015. Not be long coming around. I look forward to seeing you on there.